I'm interviewing Dr. Mazen Kumsia from Palestine, from the West Bank. We're going to talk about the latest developments. So this month of October, it seems to have started in Al-Aqsa. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so the Israeli government, taking advantage of the fact that there's a lot of mayhem in countries like Syria and Iraq and Yemen, and the focus of the media on those issues, tried to implement its long strategic plan of taking over Al-Aqsa and dividing it in terms of time and in terms of location, so that instead of being just a Muslim holy shrine like it was for the past 1400 years, to have Jewish presence on this holy site for Muslims. My family is not Muslim, but I think this is an atrocity that this third holiest shrine in Islam is being attacked by extremist settlers living illegally in the West Bank, by the way. And international law clearly rejects Israeli sovereignty in East Jerusalem, in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and rejects those measures to take parts of Al-Aqsa and make it into some sort of Jewish synagogue, whether in terms of time or place. There is a precedent for this because Israel did the same thing with the Ibrahimi Mosque in Hebron. So that's why the Muslim world is taking it seriously, and the Palestinians, Christians and Muslims, have taken it seriously.
I mean, we saw videos of tear gas in the mosque and sound grenades. I mean, what happened there?
Yes, so basically Israel has started to turn the whole place as a military target zone and is attacking it almost on a daily basis, attacking the Muslims going in there. And that's in addition, of course, to refusing to allow Muslim prayers for many Muslims, for a majority of Muslims actually who wish to pray there. A majority of Palestinian Muslims in the West Bank and Palestinian Christians like me are not allowed to Jerusalem, and those who are in Jerusalem or Palestinians inside the Green Line, they are allowed to pray in the mosque only if they are above a certain age, like 50 years old for men, and so forth. So these religious freedoms have been infringed upon, and this has been accelerating. That's why there was some resistance to it, and this resistance Israel put it down brutally, so that so far in this month of October, about the middle of the month of October, we had over 40 Palestinians who were killed. 9 of them were children, and also 5 Israelis, I think, were also killed. So it is an amazing escalation of violence because of Israel's plans for the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
And we also have violence going on against Palestinians constantly on a daily basis. That shocking arson of the Dawabsha family, 3 people burned to death and no one arrested, all these things.
Yes, and I personally lost many friends in this struggle, in nonviolent resistance even, or Palestinians who are not even engaged in resistance were shot simply for being Palestinians. There is a number of videotapes actually showing Israelis after they shot these Palestinians, whether Israeli settlers or soldiers, that Israeli soldiers planted knives next to these young people. Essentially all the victims were under 25 years of age, and they planted knives to show that they were knife-wielding Palestinians attacking them. But there's video proof that this was planted evidence in many of those cases, and this is shows the level of racism. Even Israelis shot other Israelis simply because they looked Arab, and so forth. In one case, a guy with a Jewish Israeli who happened to have Arab, like Yemeni background as a Jew, but he was shot. And then an Eritrean or Ethiopian man just yesterday in Beersheba was not only killed, but they even tortured him after he was killed. And he had nothing to do with anything. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he happened to look like an Arab, basically.
I wanted to close by talking, you mentioned you were not Muslim. You know, sometimes the narrative is these radical Muslims against the Jews. Talk about the city of Bethlehem and the town where you're from and the non-Muslim Palestinians.
So Bethlehem is a suburb of Jerusalem, essentially. It's less than 4 miles away from the center of Jerusalem, the center of Bethlehem. And Bethlehem, as a suburb of Jerusalem, was isolated from Jerusalem by an Israeli apartheid wall that prevents most Palestinians from Bethlehem from arriving to Jerusalem. I was a high school teacher in Jerusalem, and now I'm not allowed to go to Jerusalem. Even with my American passport, I'm not allowed to go to Jerusalem.
You're an American citizen.
Yes. So it's an amazing feature of apartheid system that segregates based on religion and forbids people who are indigenous to the land from freely moving around, whereas any Jew and any convert to Judaism from around the world is welcome to come, get automatic citizenship, and live on stolen Palestinian land and move freely. Hence, I say this is a structure that structured apartheid or racism, and that's why we resist, and that's why we support the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement.
And Bethlehem, which in this end of year becomes very prominent for religious reasons, the current Bethlehem is getting walled in.
Yes, and the wall is being built around Bethlehem, but also even the wall is being built in neighborhoods within Jerusalem, like Al-Aqsa, which Israel started to build a wall around the neighborhood because it's an Arab neighborhood. Just this week they started building the wall inside Jerusalem. This shows again the hypocrisy and the stupidity of the notion that Jerusalem is a unified capital of Israel, that Israel annexed it. Jerusalem, since its occupation, illegal occupation I may add, by international law, remains illegally occupied and remains segregated city and remains a city that oppression happens on a daily basis. Denial of residency rights. Over 9,000 Palestinians lost their residency rights in Jerusalem just in the last few years, basically ethnically cleansed out of Jerusalem. And Bethlehem is suffering because Bethlehem's economy is dependent on Jerusalem and has been isolated from Jerusalem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.